So, Wales are the first team through to the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup. I said in my previous video that this game was going to be closer than people thought, and I've never been so happy to be proven wrong. Let's dig into the events of the game and have a look who impressed. So, I said in my last video that this game was going to be closer than most people were predicting, and I think I was right. For the first 20 minutes at least. It could not have been a better start for Wales, with a great line break from Jack Morgan off the line out, and Gareth Davies trailing on the inside on that scrum halves line that he's so good at. He's one of the best in the world at doing that. Like, how many tries have we seen him score from running that support line? I think even in the commentary team they said something like he was scored more tries than any other scrum half in the World Cup, which is insane. And the lovely part about the break was they clearly set up Australia for this. They used the same move they used against Fiji early on, the strike move, where it was a little pop from Tompkins to North. They used that first straight away off the first play they had, and then on the second opportunity they had, they brought in North. They looked like they were going to do the exact same thing, and it was the inside ball, nice inside ball from Tompkins. Morgan times his line absolutely perfectly, and then great pace to get away from the defence, and then Davis on the inside. Perfect start for Wales. From there then, Australia come back into the game a little bit. They have a long period of attack in the 22. Really good defensive set by Wales, but eventually they give away a penalty. Donaldson kicks it. Then following that we have the scenes that no Welsh fan wanted to see, and that was Dan Biggar having to go off with an injury. Not exactly sure what the injury was. Looked like it was his shoulder or his pec, and around that time Australia absolutely smashing Wales at scrum time. I was thinking, oh, that does not bode well for the rest of the game. They gain a penalty from that, which Donaldson adds onto the total, making it 6-7. At that point then, I'll hold my hand up, I was slightly a little bit concerned. Biggar going off was a big thing. Anscombe didn't really play that well against Portugal. He hasn't played a lot of rugby, and I was starting to worry. Oh, the pessimistic Welsh fan was coming out in me, and I was starting to worry, is this game going to actually just go to the wire all the way? After that though, Wales react really, really well. We go up the field with a maul, I believe. Anscombe missed his first penalty and then nails his second one from a similar, probably a little bit more difficult situation. This then calmed the nerves. Wales open up a little bit more of a gap, and then it leads to, I think, probably the most pivotal part of the game where the biggest swing happened. Now, everyone knows a rugby game is made up of moments, and this was a big moment that just absolutely sucked the air out of the Australians, give Wales a boost. And I know I'm not the first to say this, and I know I won't be the last, but I think this is just the point where the game was won crazily. So Australia have a penalty in a real kickable position. This would have brought them back to within one score, I believe, and they decide to go for the corner bravely, but the execution is so poor. They don't even get a jumper up, and I think it's Jack Morgan catches the ball, kicks it up the field, and it's a brilliant kick. It ends up being a 15-22, I think, and if it had stayed in, it could have easily been a try, because Wainwright and Josh Adams were absolutely herring after the ball, and Gareth Davies, and they just seemed like they wanted it way more than Australia. Like, the only person that was really chasing back was like Tate McDermott, I think, and the rest of the three quarters and the pack and all that, they're jogging back, just praying that it's going to go out, and lucky for them, it did. I even wrote in my notes at this point, Wales just want this more, and that was clearly proven to be right. Anscombe kicks another penalty then, and just before going into half time, we have a scrum on centre field from Donaldson kicking the ball out on the full. Wales attack. They've really sorted out the scrum at this point. Interestingly, at half time, Robin McBride, who was doing the S4C commentary, said something along the lines of Slipper was scrummaging illegally, and Wales have sorted that out now, and it actually showed for the rest of the game, because they smashed Australia for the rest of the game. But Wales smashed the scrum on halfway. They attack, create an overlap. I think North maybe could have given it to Zammit just early and see if he can just win on his own. North tries to come inside and draw in some defenders, and Zammit eventually gets held up over the line, and Wales go into half time 16-6 up. Then we come out for half time, and Wales are basically from there on in the only team in the races. Australia completely capitulate. Wales start again, another penalty for Anscombe, and then around the 48th minute, absolutely excellently weighted chip over the top from Anscombe. Good comms between him and Tompkins. Tompkins times his run so well, uses good pace and good skill to dot it down. A good try, but yeah, great vision from whoever called that, and great execution from both players. From there on in and then it was just a stranglehold. Wales just completely dominate every asset of the game. I don't think I've seen us for such a long time dominate a game quite like that. It was really great to see, especially against some team like Australia. Not that they were at their best, in fact they were dreadful, but it's just great for us to see as Welsh fans that it was just like never in doubt after a while, which was like a strange sensation. So Anscombe kicks some more penalties. I also adds a nice little drop goal with nothing really going on in attack, and then at the end Jack Morgan mauls over with the pack to just top off such a great display from the boys. So what can you say really? Such an amazing performance by so many good players. A masterclass really from Gatland. That was just a typical Warren Gatland display where we just did everything right. Completely strangled Australia, took the life out of them. The fitness, they just couldn't contain us. Gareth Davis was outstanding. The Welsh fans were there and they made a really great atmosphere. The choir messed up the anthem again, but I'm going to stop complaining about that. Eddie Jones's face was an absolute picture. It was just a bit sad to see Australia falling to quite so low as they are at the moment. I don't know if Eddie Jones is the man going forward. It seems like his sort of arrogance in wanting to like make a point, I think, in getting out players like Quade Cooper and Michael Hooper, etc., was like, it's just to the detriment of the whole team. I don't see us beating them by this score if those players are playing. Anyway, this is a Welsh podcast, so I'm going to now move on to the player groups and have a look at who played well, how they played. And if you do want more Welsh rugby content, please consider subscribing. We've got a nice little community coming in the comments now, but I'm just going to get on with the players. Let's begin at the beginning with the forwards. So the front row was excellent, probably the most dominant we've seen a Welsh front row for a long time. All players played well. I thought Francis particularly was really good. Gareth Thomas struggled a little bit at the start, but as I was saying, maybe Australia was scrummaging a little bit illegally and they sorted out whatever the issues were. The line out was good. I believe it was 17 from 18, so good job Elias on that. They were just good around the park all over the place. And then the great thing about that was when the subs came on, the standard didn't drop. They kept high, they kept dominating, they kept the energy level. So all around, all the front row was great. Moving on to the tall guys, I thought Beard was pretty good in his 50th cap. Congratulations again to him. He still absorbs tackles, which really drives me mad, but he was actually pretty busy. You actually noticed him around the park, so credit where it's due. He had a good game. The line out was good also. But Will Rowlands, it just continues to impress and improve. I wrote in my notes at halftime, is Will Rowlands slowly revealing himself to be a world-class second row? And I think he is. I think of when he came into the squad, he's just got better and better and better. Every time he puts on that Wales jersey, he's just dominant in pretty much everything he does. His carrying is big, his hits are big, and he just causes absolute havoc at the ruck, and it's absolutely brilliant. We need to wrap him in cotton wool now. Don't play him against Georgia. Just get Dav Jenkins out there and let's just protect him, because he's literally, I think he's world class. Well, what do you guys think? The back row too was brilliant. Wainwright was actually really good. I think he improved from that Fiji game. He was really good in the line out, and he was actually everywhere. It just seemed like he was everywhere in defence, supporting, chasing, like I mentioned, from that Jack Morgan clearance kick from the line out. Wainwright was just tearing up there. He just wanted it, and I really was impressed by his performance. Faletau is always going to be world class. The more games he plays, the more fit he's becoming. He's just showing his quality and that he's still got it, and he's pretty much back to his best. But Jack Morgan, I mean, what can you say about him? He's just so good. Like, is he going to keep getting better? Is it possible? He's just proven himself to be absolutely key to everything the Wales do well at the moment. He can literally do everything. Like, his tackling is superb, his carrying is superb, he even can kick it well. Like, what can't he do? The line breaking, he's just everything, literally everything the Wales are doing well at the moment, he's involved in it some way or another. And like, he's drawing comparisons with like Warburton in his manner and stuff like that, and I don't want to put that pressure on him, but it's so hard to not pile pressure on him and expect so much from him when he just constantly keeps going out and delivering huge world-class performances. Like, he's just been so good for us. And I have a little theory, which I think may be a little bit of touch of genius from Gatland, is the reason he named the co-captains, other people might have said this but I'm not sure, but he named them co-captains because he wanted Lake to have to deal with all of the media, all of that side of things, because he's so good at it, so confident, whereas Jack Morgan seems like he shies away from that side of the game a bit. So I think he's put Lake there to maybe absorb that and then just let Jack Morgan play his natural game. And if that is what he did, then it's absolutely a touch of genius, because Morgan has been unbelievable. But I'm going to have to stop talking about Jack Morgan now, because it can go on forever. But I'm going to go to someone else who was absolutely unbelievable, and that was Gareth Davies. So happy for Gareth Davies. Absolutely love him as a player. Always been a favourite of mine, and that was one of, if not his best performance for Wales, but that was him at his absolute best. His kicking was pretty much perfect all game. His defence was brilliant. He had one of his trademark little interceptions where he just gets in the passing lanes. He was just brilliant. Like, he didn't don't think he put a foot wrong. He would have been my man of the match. Personally, I understand why they give it to Anscombe. They could have given it to Jack Morgan, but to me, Gareth Davies was brilliant, and he's justified Gatland backing him. And he was just tremendous. I just can't say anything else other than that. Biggar, of course, went off early, which is a worry. Obviously, Anscombe came in, played really well. We'll talk about him in a sec. But Biggar, it could be a peck. I can't find anything this morning to explain what his injury was. But we've got some time now. I think it's 2 weeks nearly until the Georgia game, and then another week after that then for the quarterfinal. So he could potentially have 3 weeks to get back in fitness if it's something that he can come back from. But we'll wait and see. But Anscombe coming in, what a job he did. I mean, he obviously had a bit of an armchair ride, which obviously always helps. His kicking was really good, out of hand and at goal. Missed his first one, nailed I think all of the others. He had a good drop goal when there was nothing on. It was good to see him get minutes. I was sceptical of him being in this squad, but you can see again why we should always back Gatland, because Anscombe was a man of the match performance. 23 points, and I think he levelled the most ever points in a World Cup by one player, but for Wales, so congrats to him. Tompkins and North in the centre, good solid games from both. Tompkins was good in attack, got his try. His defence, or tackling rather, for me is still leaves a little bit to be desired, but other people are telling me that he's a brilliant defender, so I don't know. North, I think, continues to grow as a centre. I thought he did a real good job of just beating in small spaces yesterday. He always seemed to get over the line, the gain line, whenever he carried the ball. So yeah, good afternoon for both those guys. Their partnership continues to grow, which is good, and I think with Anscombe he challenges the gain line more, so it might give them more space, which will be good. And the back three, you'd expect with 40 points on the board that the back three would have had a lot of work, but actually they were just solid. They didn't really get an awful lot of opportunity to attack. I think Zammit might have been getting a little bit frustrated. He did go off injured. It looked like an issue with his calf or his lower ankle. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Again, he's the same as Biggar. We've got a few weeks now to heal these boys up and get them back. Let's hope he gets back. Adams continues to look like returning to his best form. He looks hungry and he looks sharp, which is great. His hands have improved and he was really good kick chasing. Liam Williams, solid as ever, so I was happy with all the back three performances, even though they didn't really get an opportunity to get on the score sheet, which is a shame. But yeah, what can you say? There can be no complaints. It was a record defeat of Australia by Wales, which is tremendous. Australia go out of the group stages for the first time in their history. But yeah, Wales just, what can you say, from when Gatland took over to the Six Nations was terrible. The autumn internationals, we were looking at it at the end thinking, retrospectively, we don't really know what to think of this team. We squeezed by Fiji, but now we're looking like we're actually building some cohesion, a bit of confidence, which is great now for this squad. And looking ahead to the Georgia game, I'm not going to look past that yet. I think we want to still probably retain mostly this team, in my opinion, swapping a few players in and out, resting some key players. I would certainly want to see Faletau rested and Will Rowlands. I don't really want to see them anywhere near this team. Maybe give Jack Morgan a rest. I think he's played every minute so far. He would probably be due a break. I would like to see Thomas Williams get some time on the pitch. Obviously, Biggar and Zammit are going to be injured, so let's just nurse their injuries, hopefully get them back to fitness, and maybe bring in Halfpenny for Williams, just protect Williams more than anything. He plays very abrasively, so let's give him a rest against Georgia as well, and then let's look at the quarterfinals after that and see who we're up against. But that's all from me. Thanks for watching and subscribe to the channel. Bye.